but I actually cried after every painting class for the first year. I was painting every day for 2 or 3 years, but I never painted anything that I wanted to paint. I think drawing is the most important part of painting, for sure.
Welcome back to the studio. If you're new, I'm Slew. This was the first artist demonstration that I've hosted here at my studio.
My name is Shannon. I'm an alla prima portrait painter primarily. Alla prima meaning wet into wet, direct painting, as opposed to the indirect painting method, which is painting in layers over time, letting them dry between. Alla prima is just a very direct and almost like action painting. It's like X Games mode. I am here to instruct, to lead a portrait painting demo in the alla prima approach. It's going to be so fun. We're painting from a live model, which is my favorite thing to do.
Since starting my fine art organization back in September, I've really only housed figure drawing sessions. But my vision and dream for Studio Slew is to have much more, to have instructed workshops, to have artist demos. So Shannon came from Ohio to do the first painting. A painting demonstration is really just like a lecture with someone painting. It is extremely valuable for so many reasons. You get to see the artist work in real time, their specific technique, the experience behind that technique, and most importantly, why they're making those decisions in real time. You have the same tone every time?
No. Right now I'm actually using one that I don't usually use because my transparent red oxide is dry, so.
I don't ever use transparent red oxide.
That is my favorite color ever, especially the Williamsburg one.
I thought you were a alizarin crimson
enthusiast. I am, but transparent red oxide enthusiast just doesn't have the same ring to it, you know? But the Williamsburg transparent red oxide is like the prettiest color I've ever seen in my life. It looks exactly like barbecue sauce.
Yummy. So toning complete.
Toning complete.
And why do you do this, Shannon?
You want to tone so that you can work on a neutral ground so you're not fighting the white of the canvas the entire time. I think this makes my life easier. The warmth of the painting wasn't intentional. It was like influenced by picking up the background a little too much. Like this one was like a cool ground showing through. And this is the Williamsburg transparent red oxide.
Yeah, wow.
That's straight barbecue sauce.
This was Shannon and I's first time meeting. She came straight from the airport to the studio to drop off some supplies. This is a Friday. The demo is on Saturday, so we needed to sort of arrange the studio to be proficient for this demonstration. Where her easel was gonna be, where the model was gonna sit, how the model was gonna pose, the lighting on the model, probably the most important part as a painter, but also the other logistical things, where the TV was gonna be, the angles of the camera were, so that everyone could see, for the people who not just were there, but to document this demonstration so people can see it online. All these things we organized that Friday to be prepared for Saturday. The setup's looking magnifique. Yeah, pretty straightforward, pretty easy. One light source.
Yeah, we organized some pretty harsh top-down, nice fall-off of light, Rembrandt style lighting, which is my favorite.
Very exciting.
It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool tone.
And do you tend to do this, like,
when I
top-down
have a
Rembrandt?
model, yeah, I do the spotlight. We're so excited. I think the importance of a demo is seeing the process in real life and also in real time, because I think, like we were talking about with the structure of schooling, everyone kind of has a similar approach. In my experience in the niche community of representational realism demos that I've watched, everyone has a similar approach, but like you were saying, like the way paint is mixed or what color combinations to reach the same flesh tone, or the way they hold their brush or articulate the same points differently, that it might resonate with you better.
It really is valuable.
I would agree.
And
I agree.
This demo was about 2.5 hours of real-time painting. I'm going to sell the real-time demo on my website, and 100% of the proceeds will be going to Studio Slew, my organization, because again, I am a nonprofit, so I'm not profiting from the sale of this, but I want to make the real-time version available for people who are interested. These demos wouldn't happen without my website by Squarespace. I'm able to post ticketed events through their platform. It makes it so easy for me as a business owner, as someone who is housing these events. They have this schedule system built into their platform. Squarespace, if you don't know, is the best website to build a website. They have 24-hour customer service, award-winning templates, and it's just an invaluable tool for a business owner and artist like myself. Whether you want to use a website to sell things through super powerful e-commerce tools that they have, or just show your work through like sort of a portfolio setting, Squarespace makes it so easy. Their user interface is so easy. This grid, drag and drop system, it is the most straightforward and the most professional you can get. And I think it really could help a lot of you if you are planning to sort of take that next step in your business or career. So if you're interested, go to squarespace.com. And if you want to buy a domain and start your website, go to squarespace.com/slew for 10% off.
Wow, you use flake white. I'm just putting some paint out. It seems like we use pretty much the same palette, so that's really cool because I was afraid to bring paint on the airplane. But yeah, just putting out more than I think that I need, because when you're painting, especially alla prima, you don't want to be worried about running out of paint. The mixing should just be like a afterthought. I usually paint with about 5 to 8 colors, including white. I love oil by default because LCAD was very diligent about not letting you use anything else. So I had like kind of a backwards experience with different paint mediums. I think a lot of people start with like watercolor or acrylic or gouache even, and then they have this like preconceived notion about how difficult oil painting is. Okay, good. I'm glad I'm not projecting.
No, that's, and everyone I talk to,
Yes.
it's the same. I mean, I'm glad that you were opposite. I want to hear more, but completely agree.
Yeah, everyone tells me that oil painting sounds so hard and they wish they could try it. And I'm like, I've tried acrylic and gouache now, and I think they're way harder. And I don't even get me started on watercolor.
Yeah.
I think all of those mediums are harder, and I think that I feel that way because I'm not experienced in them.
Yeah.
Just like
Anything.
yes. So I think oil painting is not any more challenging than any other medium. It's just different, and it's a higher threshold to get into at a price point. And all the mediums, I think there's more like technical aspects that you feel obligated to know about than like something like acrylic.
Yes.
And that's what trips people up. But the actual process of painting with it is not any different than anything else.
I realized while I'm editing right now that I rarely get to talk with people about oil painting like sort of this intensely and their experience and share sort of the passion. Obviously there's a lot of oil painters that I know, but it's not often you get this sort of intimate, longer setting to articulate how you feel and share the experiences like Shannon and I did. So I just think it's awesome. That's why I love making these videos and inviting artists to the studio so I could set up these sort of conversations, because they're so valuable, I think, for a lot of people watching, but selfishly for myself. Full-time artist, but you have a day job.
Yes.
And why that's so awesome for you.
I was painting every day for 2 or 3 years, but I never painted anything that I wanted to paint, like a single time in that period. And I just noticed I was becoming like a really bitter person. I was so mad all the time. And I like did some reflection. I'm like, why am I so angry? And I looked at all the work I had created in my studio in the past, in that time frame, and it was like empty. My studio was empty because I was just doing commissions daily, shipping them out. And I had like nothing to show for, and I wasn't proud of anything. And I remembered my senior year of school, I was taking this like professional studies class. The professor was like, you should have a day job as an artist. Like no one does painting full time. It doesn't exist. And I was like, screw you, like what do you know? Fast forward 3 years later, I'm like, yeah, I actually, you know what? She was onto something. So I got a day job. Luckily at the time, it was like, not luckily, it it was like COVID era and everything was remote. So I scored a super sweet remote job with a really flexible schedule, and my life like improved overnight because I finished all my commissions. I never looked back, and that balance like enabled me to refocus my
Love and passion.
yeah yeah
Right? Like,
yeah. No, I think every artist, like every professional artist, will come to a point in their career where maybe you're teaching or doing commissions or doing something with your skills and talents that feels like you're, I'm trying to find a word that's not prostituting.
yeah. But exactly. Selling yourself a little.
Yeah, and it feels gross
Yeah.
because I think artists are mostly like pretty deeply feeling people, and if that's the only thing you're doing with those skills, it feels bad.
Yeah,
for me
sure.
at least.
No, you're right. And artists care so much. It's so personal. It's like a large bucket of value comes from the things they make. And if you're doing it for other people,
If that is your only like output with your skills, it feels bad. And I think there's a balance, and I think that it's easily achievable through having a day job, which, like you said, most people, like creative professionals, do. And no one talks about their
no one
day
talks
job.
about because everyone wants this idea of, oh, I'm a full-time artist. I'm living this full-time life. Again, like I sort of do, but it's way different and not normal. And again, as my life has gone on, sadly, I've been only painting less, which is sad. But when I do, it's exactly what I want to do.
Yes.
So there's that balance. But there's this utopian dream that a lot of younger kids have, or still full adults. They just want to be full-time doing doing Mod Podge or watercolor, and it's just not sustainable, obviously. But it's also not realistic with the burnout and the output of passion. Which you're right, not a lot of people talk about it. It's hard making new friends in person, but that's sort of the best part of social media, I think, especially when it's like-minded people. So me and Shannon got along great, and I'm so glad she was the first one to do a demo. And here's a little snippet of the demo, just the real time, what you can expect. It's so awesome, a great little nugget from Shannon's demo.
It's Vanessa, right? Okay. So on the break, Vanessa said something that I thought was really funny and so true, is people don't like to show or talk about the ugly stage, right? Like, have you guys ever been drawing or painting in front of someone at a coffee shop or something, and someone comes up and they're like, "Are you drawing?" And you're like, so that's where I'm at right now. But I think it's important, and it's kind of related to what I was saying earlier about like, it's so much legwork to get to the point where it starts looking like something. But it's really important to do that, because if you skip ahead, you'll regret it later, and then you're just kind of chasing an end result that you're not going to get because you cared too much about what it looked like too early on. So don't be afraid of the ugly stage, because it's necessary. And no one except you guys and all of YouTube is going to see this part anyways, so caught myself standing a little close, getting a little too excited. I also hold my brush pretty far back on the handle until I start rendering, to like put some distance between me and the canvas. And also so I'm not like doing one of these. I would like to say that I try to treat everything, including hair and beards, no differently than anything else. Like in theory, that's a nice idea. But it's really hard to do because at the end of the day, you are dealing with different textures and forms. But the goal is to approach everything the same and not be tripped out at like, oh, a hand or a beard, that's like a hard thing to paint. Just approach it all in the same way. Just lines and shapes
So all in all, it was so successful. Shannon killed it. Everyone who came was so nice and forthcoming. There were amazing questions being asked and those being answered. Freddie, shout out to Freddie, our model, one of the most famous models probably in New York City. He's so recognizable. He looks like Poseidon's older brother. He is just incredible. So just a super awesome Saturday, and I hope to do more. So check out studioslu.org for events and follow Studio Slu on Instagram to see more awesome events that are available in the future. Follow Shannon, of course. And yeah, that's all I got. So see you in the next video.